Okay, good morning everyone. I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year, but I'm not sure how it's going to be. We didn't expect last year, and we've not started on a good note, but positive. We've a lot of good things going on, and once the vaccine comes online, I think people will feel much better and safer, but it's important that everybody sticks to the rules more than ever. We're in a much worse situation than we were last time. So anyone listening, I just hope that you all do stick to the rules and keep everyone safe. So we'll make a start. I don't think we have any apologies for absence. So come to the minutes. I'll take silence as agreeing.
Can I offer, I don't think Faith's with us, can I offer Faith's apologies, please?
Oh, yes, sorry, yes, Faith has sent her apologies. Yeah. Okay, thank you. We have to item 9, which has been circulated and published. So I've nothing else to add to the agenda on the grounds of urgency. Can I draw your attention to members' declaration of interest at item 5? And then can we go on to item 6? Margaret, it's your paper on Families Together programme.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, when we started back in 2018 on our new improvement journey, one of the key parts of that was to work with partners and to have a cohesive unit working all together. And out of that came Wakefield Families Together. Wakefield Families Together is a significant change programme, and its aim is to support families and is available when needed and as early as possible. One of the things we identified was that we need to identify problems early so that we can react proactively to that to prevent costly interventions further down. It's this way of working's already been established on the ground with frontline teams and services. And if you look at 5.2, agenda page 11, this details a lot of the work that we're now doing in relation to that. The role of the Service Director, this new role of Service Director, Health and Wellbeing, will enable us to strengthen this work by creating an integrated leadership model, bringing together emotional wellbeing, mental health and council services, and will take the programme to the next level. This role will support us to achieve our partnership shared vision as set out on the plan on the page. It will localise working arrangements into 6 integrated teams as we move to a more local conversations and build greater and better links with partners. Bringing commissioners and lead providers together under one blended team leadership structure to better join up and support how we do our work. It will provide greater accessibility to services delivered in local communities. And it will move towards an all-aged 0 to 25 service offer that supports transition into adulthood. As you'll see at 5.3, the partnership commitment to and investment into this new post is at a strategic level, will provide leadership across the system and support arrangements already in place at frontline and middle management level. It's an important position, and it's going to be key to us moving forward to provide that best service we possibly can to our young people and their families. So I'm asking Cabinet to note the contents of this report and approve delegations for the Corporate Director for Children and Young People in consultation with the portfolio holder for children and young people, and to enter into any legal agreements which may be required to underpin the collaboration. Thank you, Leader.
Thanks very much for that, Margaret. I see there's a comment from Councillor Hemingway.
Thank you, Leader. Yeah, just a comment in support of the proposal that Councillor Schritt's bringing forward. I think this is absolutely essential. We've seen that the integration of services bringing those networks together and breaking down silos is key to continuing the improvement journey and to making sure that we continue to deliver good and improving children's services. So it's not often that we do recruit to senior management posts, create new senior management posts in the authority, but I think it's absolutely essential that we have this to bring together the good work and to keep up the momentum and improvement in children's services. So fully in support of the paper, Margaret.
Thank you, Jack. Councillor Spade.
Thank you, Leader. Yeah, I too welcome this report. The care of our children is an absolute priority, so it's vital, I think, that we're able to respond to their needs without any delay. So any changes that will help speed up our responses, provide better accessibility to services and improve outcomes can only be welcomed. And I think this model of partnership working can only help with all of this. So I think it's a very good way forward.
Thank you for that, Jackie. Any more comments? Okay, obviously it's a very good report, and it just shows where we've come from over the last few years. So it's a very welcome report, and can we support this?
Agreed.
I take that as agreed. Thank you. Item 7 is replacement of the council's cash and pay display. I think it's bringing us up to date, Councillor Morley. Would you like to take us through the paper?
I certainly would, Leader, and yes, it is definitely fetching us up to date. I'm asking Cabinet this morning to approve the allocation of £700,000 into the capital programme so we can replace all our existing council car park payment machines. The ones that we've got was put in 2008, and there was actually second-hand then. They came from the London boroughs. They only offer coin payment. We also do have the offer of Ringo, an app that you can use, and we're seeing that more and more people are actually using non-money ways to pay for car parking now. The one thing that I think really does put people off when it comes to using car parks, it's not actually the payment of them in one respect, it's the conveniency of them. More and more people are going cashless now, and these machines will give the opportunity to use cashless, to use your phone, your watch, your debit card, credit card, as well as coins as well, and also the app to use them. So I think this will support business in the city and town centres. Also, moving on with the consultation we're doing on the free car parking for any time 2 hours will really support business. They're also powered by solar energy. So once again, that supports what Councillor Hemingway is doing in his climate change agenda. So I really do welcome this report. I think it's much needed, and I think it will benefit local business and everybody in the district as well. So yes, option 2, that we replace our cash machines. I'd like to recommend that to Cabinet this morning.
Okay, thank you for that, Matthew. I think we have a number of comments. Margaret.
I think Jackie was before me, but yeah, fully support this, Matthew. I think it's, there's a number of things here. I think it's so much easier for a lot of people nowadays. We got used to this, using our cards really to pay for everything with the pandemic, because obviously there's the threat of the spread, but I think there's also the security aspect of not having to empty money machines and people having to carry large amounts of cash. And of course, the environment is going to benefit as well from it, so I fully support.
Thank you, Margaret. I think Councillor Hemingway had a comment.
Thank you, Leader. Yeah, it's just to echo what Councillor Sherwood said there. I think this is an excellent initiative, Matthew, and it's really good to see the integration of green energy into projects that the council's taking forward. This will make a difference. It will reduce our emissions and our energy consumption. So excellent work on this, and let's see more projects like this in the future.
Thank you, Jack. Jackie.
Thank you, Leader. Yeah, I think what I was going to say has been said, but to me, this report makes just perfect sense. The old machines need replacing. The new ones will assist our carbon neutral agenda. They're going to lower the security risk, and most important of all, they're going to provide greater payment flexibility for customers. I just think it's a total no-brainer. I really welcome it.
Thank you, Jackie. Michael?
And I'm agreeing as well, Leader. I think there's nothing worse than when you get to a cash machine or pay for your parking and you've only got cash and you can't pay contactless. I think this is taking us into the future where we need to be. The report shows that there's been a massive increase in the number of people wanting to pay without cash. So fully support, happy it's come to us. Thanks, Matthew.
Yeah, I think you've taken us into the next generation, Matthew. I think it was long overdue. So thank you for the report. I take it we all agree this. Yep, thank you very much. The next item is the Nottingley Master Plan. Darren, are you going to take us through this?
Yes, thank you, Leader. As you just said, that our last report's taken us into the next generation, and the proposed Nottingley Master Plan is a generational change, because this is an ambitious and aspirational document that will ensure that Nottingley and Ferry Bridge will be regenerated in a sustainable, coherent, greener, and become a much better place to live, visit and work. The majority of land in Nottingley is owned by private landlords, and the Nottingley Master Plan creates a framework for land to be allocated in a manner which will ensure a true and real balance is struck between residential, employment space and infrastructure needs, especially around the green and requirements. This is a document that could well take up to 20 years to fulfil, and that's highlighted in section 511. And that this measured pace of change will also ensure that we, Wakefield Council, can create a sustainable town and town centre in Nottingley. So here are some of the key points that the Nottingley Master Plan could deliver. To identify space for controlled employment expansion, creating much needed additional jobs. To identify space for controlled residential expansion. The Southern Link Road, which will allow Nottingley Town Centre to be significantly improved with pedestrians at the heart of the town centre. The Master Plan provides needs-based evidence for additional investment into a wide range of public services, many delivered by others outside of the Council, which could include schools, doctors, green outdoor spaces and transport infrastructure. The Master Plan will allow the Council to bid for investment from whatever source is available at the time. For example, funding from the West Yorkshire Combined Authority, Homes England and potentially future central government opportunities like the current Towns Fund. This is a real development of green infrastructure, improvements to promote physical and mental well-being of residents, to allow wildlife to flourish, to create spaces for residents to reconnect with nature, and the introduction of segregated cycle and pedestrian footpaths to create safe, accessible routes around the towns, putting people's needs over traffic. Our council is already showing a real commitment to Nottingley with its investment of around £3.4 million into Calendly Club and £840,000 into the Ferry Bridge Pavilion. As you are aware, the Calendly Club project is well underway. Working with the centre management team, this clearly shows how the council and community are working closely and working very well together. This will continue to ensure that the Calendly Club is truly at the heart of a revived Nottingley. We have also invested recently £120,000 in shopfront grants for the traders on Hilltop, refurbishing their properties, making them more relevant and introducing them to the digital partnerships. The Nottingley Master Plan further explores the regeneration opportunities for Hilltop to create a vibrant urban shopping centre within the Wakefield district, giving people more reasons to visit and enjoy Nottingley. Before I recommend this report to Cabinet, I would like to say thank you to everyone involved in the creation of the Nottingley Master Plan, those who have contributed directly, and especially the members of the public through the consultation process. Leader, I move this report and ask for the approval of option 1 as detailed in 6.1 of the report.
Thank you for that, Darren. It's been a very well presented report. I've got an interest in this because I was involved in it right from the beginning, and it's taken a long time to get to where we are. So I thank you for bringing this to us today. We have a comment from Michael.
Thanks, Leader, and thanks a lot, Councillor Byford, for bringing this. And I'd like to second, first of all, the praise for and the thank you to officers, because I know a lot of people have put a lot of hard work into this document. It's a brilliant plan. And I think it's people from across the organisation and from all different directorates. It's a massive piece of really transformational work, and I can't wait to see it come to fruition. I'd just like to say as well that obviously there has been a lot of challenges and barriers to overcome with the pandemic in terms of consultation with residents. So again, it's a massive thank you to everyone who has had the input and the sort of adjustments that officers have made to enable everyone to get their point heard, I think has been exceptional. I just want to make the point. Sometimes, I spend some of my time, as people will know, on Facebook and Twitter and things like that. And there are a lot of people who are just so quick to put a dampener on these plans and to be negative about them. I don't know how many times I've heard certain people say, oh, it's just housing, it's just a load of housing. I think this plan, if anyone bothers to have a look through it, it's about, there's some houses there, really good quality homes, but it's also about jobs, as Darren has said. It's about connectivity and transport. It's developing the town centre. I mean, it's page and page of really good news and, like I say, transformational plans that will really benefit the residents of Nottingham. So thank you to Darren for bringing it, and I think we should all be reminded it's definitely not just housing. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks for that, Michael. Matthew.
Yeah, following on from Michael, I just think this proves once again how we're always constantly looking at every part of our district to improve the district. Once again, people either say it's houses. No, it's not. You can see quite clearly it's better transport links, better pedestrian links, jobs and growth, something that we need. We're basically making sure that Wakefield's a powerhouse of West Yorkshire. We're making sure we've got the economy right, we've got the jobs there, and we've got the much needed homes for people. So I really welcome this report. It just goes on from what Regen have been doing, the cabinet meetings after meetings, looking at Pontefract, looking at Castleford, looking at the city of Wakefield, looking at all our areas to improve them. So I think it's so positive, and I really do welcome the report. So I'm totally committed and supporting this.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anything else you want to say, Darren?
Just to echo those 2 points made by Councillor Graham and Councillor Morley, it's so much more than houses. The amount of jobs that will come out of this will be immense, but also the other things that will flow, the green spaces, the blue spaces, the additional infrastructure that will come around schools and so on and so forth. This will be a true game changer for that part of our wonderful district.
Thanks very much for that, Darren. So I take it we're all in favour of this report? Yes, thank you very much. It's all agreed. The next item is the Gypsy and Travel Accommodation. Darren.
Thank you, Leader. So the purpose of this report is to seek Cabinet approval for the extension of the current Gypsy and Traveller pitch provision at our site in Heath Common for permanent and transit use. This is to ensure that the Council meets its obligations under the Central Government's housing and planning legislation to meet the accommodation needs and to reduce the number of illegal campments across the district. We will do this by the provision of circa 23 additional pitches and circa 6 transit or temporary pitches at our existing well-managed site. To implement the change, we need a budget allocation of £5.9 million of capital funding. This will enable the development of the site, the construction of a new access road, plus the provision of the utilities infrastructure required for the site to progress. Approving council land at Heath Common for this additional accommodation will help meet a shortfall in accommodation for this community. It will provide the opportunity for a safe, secure and managed site in a location that already has a community base and the management infrastructure already there. The Council is required to plan and make provision for this community under various government acts and legislation, including the National Policy Framework and the Planning Policy for Travellers 2015. The provision detailed in this report was taken from our assessment carried out in 2018 and will ensure that we, as a council, meet our continuing central government obligations. And this will also be part of our emerging plan, the Local Plan 2036. If the report is accepted, it will allow for the following to be carried out. To carry out work that will inform the final design and concepts for the site. to carry out and conclude any additional land negotiations, for preparation and the submission of all relevant planning applications once the final designs are agreed, and then to carry out any designs, work or procurements as required for the delivery of this scheme. Just like to make the following 2 points. It is acknowledged that we have had some representation on this proposal, but we note that there will be a full opportunity for views to be expressed as part of any further future planning applications. And I would also like to draw your attention to the addition of the addendum which was issued yesterday in relation to this site. And I'll just read it. That Cabinet are asked to note in respect of the recommendation that parts of the proposed site is subject to a legal restrictive covenant not to use the land for anything other than common land and not to develop the same. The proposed use of the site under option 1 would be the subject of negotiations for the release of that covenant with the relevant parties, which will be undertaken by the Council. So, Leader, I would like to move this report and ask for approval of option 1 as detailed in 6.1.
Thank you for that, Darren. I think you've set out the points very clearly of our obligations through government legislation. I have had a number of letters and people seem to appreciate that this is something that we have to do. I know it's difficult for people. People don't want it in their area, but we've been talking about this for some time, and I recommend, along with Darren, that we agree this report and move forward to the next part of the process. Can we agree that?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you very much. That is agreed. Darren, you're on a roll here. You've got a final item, Langswaite Business Zone Access Road.
This is a very brief report, Leader. The purpose of this report is to accept a grant from the West Yorkshire Combined Authority of £900,500 to enable us to construct an access road into the existing Langswaite Business Park Enterprise Zone. Additionally, we ask that the Council underwrites any additional funds that may be required for this scheme to progress if additional requests for funding from the West Yorkshire Combined Authority is not approved. Finally, before I recommend this report to Cabinet, I would like to thank everybody involved in the Council and at the West Yorkshire Combined Authority, and for the support and for the input offered by local elected members. So with that, Leader, I move this report and ask for approval of option 1 as detailed in 6.1.
That's agreed. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I was on mute. The next item is the council budget. It's set out in the report. The report, including the supported appendix, sets out the council's budget proposals for 21-22 financial year. These budget proposals outline potential changes, savings and costs. We have an issue of the funding, which is obviously quite a large amount to find. It's 25.7 million. We shall find this from. Sorry, I'm getting my papers mixed up. We shall find this by increased use of reserves, 3.6, housing and business 3.1, accounting changes, 2 million, service efficiencies and saving 11.1, and council tax increase 5.9. Altogether, that comes to 25.7. What we're asking today is that Cabinet agree the budget, we send it to scrutiny, and then we go out to public consultation. Following that, there will be a budget council meeting at the end of February. Any comments? Jack?
Yeah, thank you, Leader. I'm obviously very happy to support the initial budget proposals. I think it's we've had a very challenging year financially. We've not had the full costs of COVID covered by the government, despite their pledges that we do so. necessitated some difficult decisions on our part. But I think the authority and officers and colleagues can be very proud that we put together a budget that recognises our priorities, that's looking at issues around improving the environment and tackling climate change, also addressing the growing crisis of poverty, which I know Councillor Cummins is doing some excellent work on. So I'm very happy to commend this budget and think it's the best document that we could do in the circumstances.
Thank you for that, Jack. Maureen, you have a comment?
Yeah, just if I may come in again, I echo what Councillor Hemingway said and thank officers for their diligence in actually putting together a really good budget that ensures that we continue to support our vulnerable residents. Just one point of clarity, Leader. You did actually say 5.9 council tax increase. That isn't the case for this year, is it?
No, it isn't. Sorry. No, it's 4.99.
Thank you.
And that is made up of 1.99 council tax and 2% for the social care.
Thank you, Leader. I think it's appalling, as I suspect most members think, that we have to raise adult social care funding through our taxpayers, and I think that's something that we should be challenging the government about. I know there's nothing we can do at the moment, but I do think we should be challenging the government.
Michael.
Thanks, Leader. Just to echo what Councillor Cummins has said, I think all Cabinet members are disgusted with the government. They continue to fob off the responsibility of providing funding for social care, and they're constantly passing it on to the residents of the Wakefield district and to others across the country. Promise after promise to tackle this challenge and to provide funding for it, and yet year after year it's the residents who let's face it, people are struggling with this pandemic. They need all the help they can get, and now they're going to get another bill for adult social care. It's just outrageous. It's not on, and I totally back what Maureen's saying. We need to challenge the government and lobby for this to change once and for all.
Yes, I think you're quite right, Michael, and I think that's the point is well made. They do book every time. They've said they will tackle it, they don't tackle it, and again, it's the public that are having to pay for this, and I do feel that as a controlling group that this thing that we should be campaigning on, and I know that we will. So can we agree the recommendations that we pass this on to scrutiny and then out to consultation, and then finally it will go to the council meeting at the end of February? We agree that. Thank you very much. Okay, the next item is the financial health report, and I'm asking Cabinet to note the forecast budget position for the council meeting. It's a very straightforward report. Can we agree that? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attendance. Take care and keep safe.